Welcome to Moments with Marianne. I'm so delighted we're spending this time here today. We have a very powerful and inspirational show coming right up. And our special guest today is none other than CNN hero Mona Patel. Mona is the San Antonio Amputee Foundation founder. And in 2017, she was honored as one of the top CNN heroes for her work. So let's welcome to the show, Mona.
Thank you, Marianne. It's so absolutely wonderful to be here.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. And, you know, your story is so inspiring. I could not wait for us to spend this time together and talk more, not just about your journey, but all the great work that you're doing right now.
I'm excited to share with you. Thank you.
Well, you know, and so let's start, obviously, at the beginning. And because I know that you were hit by a drunk driver when you were 17, was that correct?
That's correct. That is correct. So I'll take you back a little bit more, even before age 17. I am from India, born and raised here in the States. My parents migrated here about 50 years ago. So I was raised in the U.S. very marginally by very traditional parents in a Western culture. So as you can imagine, you know, that kind of had a lot of challenges for me. And growing up, I knew that I was always going to have an arranged marriage. And I was raised with my reputation protected, and I wasn't allowed to go to school dances. And, you know, my parents did allow me to join the Girl Scouts for like a minute, because once they found out that they were overnight campfire stuff, and, you know, so I had to quit the Girl Scouts. So, and I understood my culture. I respected my culture, so I never fought it. I was taught to make a full Indian meal by the time I was 13 years old. I was taught how to make a mean cup of chai and taught how to respectfully serve it to my elders. And what was always very important to me growing up was a college education. And I was always very fearful that my parents would have me, you know, find a good husband for me before I was able to start college and get me married off. And I was in a rush to start college, so I was able to graduate from high school at age 16. I started college at age 16, all with the hopes that if my parents got me married, if I was at least in college, my hope would be that my husband and my future in-laws would allow me to continue college. If my marriage didn't work and my parents did not support me through a divorce, it was very important for me to at least know that I had my education to fall back on. So that was my thought process from a very, very early age. So I started college at 16, and 2 terms into college is when I was struck by the drunk driver, and my whole life just went a completely different direction after that, of course.
I heard in some of the videos, because, you know, there's quite a bit out there since you were one of our CNN heroes, which, I mean, so proud for you to have that recognition and that accolade. That
Thank you.
It talks about, and it just talks about, you know, it wasn't, I mean, being run over is bad enough, but it was just pretty bad how things ended up being.
Yeah, I was struck twice. I was a pedestrian on my college campus, and there happened to be this man, a drunken man, drugged. He was high on different drugs as well, parked on a service road that connects the parking lot to campus. And we made full eye contact, and if I thought anything, I figured that maybe he was waiting for somebody to get out of class, and, you know, he was going to pick him up and go home. I was a perfect pedestrian. I walked around the right-hand side of his car, and there were 2 witnesses, Marianne, that happened to be watching me as I entered the scene. So they saw absolutely everything, and they thought that it was like a boyfriend-girlfriend situation, because to them it looked very intentional. He was idling his motor. He hit me once. I flew up, across, back on his car, and then he pinned me between a metal railing and his car. And that's pretty much what really just kind of he sandwiched my leg between there and crushed my lower leg. So it was, you know, pretty. And then throughout the trauma of the accident, my body reacted very, very adversely to the trauma. Lungs collapsed. I was in ICU for weeks, attached to every machine possible. They weren't so concerned about my leg at the time because they were just trying to sustain my life. And then once my life, was kind of under control, they started working on my leg. And initially, I had a 4-foot amputation. So they had amputated half of my foot initially when I was still in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't walk for about 2 or 3 years. Fast forward 7 years, I had gone through about 20 surgeries by that point, and we were getting ready to schedule surgery number 21, and I was tired. I was tired of going back in and out of surgery, losing strength, losing mobility, starting rehab again, and I just knew there had to be something better. So that was my crossroads. Do I continue this quality of life, or do I search for a better quality of life by having a higher level amputation?
Yeah, it must have been, kind of a difficult decision, but also a little bit of a relief, because anyone who's gone through a surgery just knows, especially major surgery like the ones you had, knows just how the toll it takes on the body, and there's so much that you go through. And then to do so, you've been through so many of them. I mean, it's just amazing that, that you had all that done. I think it says a lot about who it is that you are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm being blessed with, just very loving support system has always carried me, through my times of hardship and physical, emotional struggle. So very blessed to have a very, very strong foundation of love from my family and friends.
Oh, I'm sure that made such a big difference. And then as you're starting your new life, did the pain kind of just go away, initially? Because, when you have that many surgeries, there's got to be a level of pain that one goes through. Did you start feeling better when you had the amputation? Was it a process as well?
It was a process. The type of pain that, yes, caused me to have to go back in and out of surgery so many times over the course of the 7 years, that type of pain, of course, was taken care of with my decision to amputate my leg below the knee, thank goodness. And even today, I still have, I deal every day, every moment that's awake with chronic nerve-type pains, but you kind of just learn to live with it. The quality of my life drastically improved when I made the decision to electively amputate my lower leg. My endurance was very limited. My range of motion in my limb was very limited. And it was the best decision that I could have ever made to have a better quality of life. And it's funny because giving up a little bit of your body to get so much of your life back. And that's essentially the thought process that carried me through was the hopes that, I'm going to give up a little bit of my body, but, I'm hopeful that I'm going to have, just rock an amazing lifestyle that I have been missing. And that was my story. Absolutely. I have no regrets about having my leg amputated.
Well, and
lots of lessons
across,
Yeah.
I bet there's a ton of lessons that went with that.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Well, and it's interesting because, when people hear your story, because it's just, it's just heart-wrenching just how you had to go through all these things. And I'm sure a lot of listeners are wondering, how did you find the inner strength to keep moving forward and then to eventually help others that are going through the same struggles?
So finding the inner strength, honestly, when my accident first happened when I was, 16, 17, I wasn't an emotionally very strong person. I was, I don't know what the right word would be, but I wasn't very strong. I would cry at the drop of a hat. I was very emotional. And I was given, it's almost like someone just blasted me with strength and perspective as I was lying in the hospital bed in ICU. And my parents had a very, very difficult time adjusting and accepting that this was happening to their baby. and I had to be strong for my mom and dad. And, and that in turn just made me fight. Because if they were to see my sadness and my fears, they would not have been able to get through. And then seeing their strength and their positivity because they were feeding off of mine, it fed me. So it was kind of a cycle that, we just kind of fed each other with strength and support, and it worked for us. And how do I find the strength, to help other people? I truly feel very, very personally responsible for giving my strength and love and support to other people during their own times of darkness and uncertainty. Some of the lessons that I have learned from my own situation needs to be paid forward to others that are in the same position. And I truly believe that everything in life always happens for a reason, and I know my reason. And, my reason was to be able to create a platform and dedicate that platform to empowering other people through their own individual journeys through limb loss. And that was the whole thought process when I first started my support group for amputees in San Antonio.
When you first started your support group, were there just a couple people, or did a lot of people show up? What did that look like?
So when I was at that crossroads of whether or not to amputate my leg, I looked in our own community here for a support group because I wanted to talk to other amputees. What's your life like? I had 1,000 questions. I could not find one. So once I made my decision to go forward with the amputation, I vowed to myself that I would start a support group and fill that void. And for the first, 5 or 6 years, Marianne, there were maybe 7, 8 people consistently in the support group. And, you just have to stay persistent and always remember the reason why, you're holding the support group, because it gets discouraging when you can't find new members to join your support group. And now, 20 years later, 50, 60 amputees every single support group meeting. It is probably one of the strongest support networks, amputee support networks in the country, if not even in the world. And we have a lot of other communities that seek us out to help guide them to create the same type of services in their own community because we have been so successful in creating such a strong amputee support network in San Antonio. So it's neat, and the CNN platform has given me more visibility, and so more and more people are reaching out to us for guidance. Well, how do I create here what you have there? So it's awesome. It's wonderful.
Oh, you've got to love that. Yes. Because it's really getting help to the people that really are truly looking for it and don't have anywhere to turn.
Absolutely. So the San Antonio Amputee Foundation, we do a lot of things for our amputee community, and the biggest tenet is support, individual support. Mm-hmm. I'm all over the city providing individual support to amputees. It could be in the hospital, it could be at their wound care center, it can be in a nursing home, it could be in their home. I may meet them at a coffee shop to chat before surgery. And the support group, of course. The support group meets once monthly. And what it provides is a community of support, encouragement, inspiration. And it truly helps amputees through their emotional recovery, and which inevitably helps with their physical outcomes as well when they're in a group of people who understand what they're going through. They don't feel ashamed because they're looking, at a room full of people who have 1, 2, 3, 4 limbs missing, and they're happy, they're smiling, they're productive, they're in relationships, whatever it may be, gives them so much hope that, okay, if all these people did it, there's a chance for me too. And it's just powerful. The power of peer support is just tremendous. It is absolutely just powerful. Powerful stuff. Yeah. Beautiful, powerful stuff.
well, people get to feel like they're part of something, and they have other people that can understand and relate to, some of the things they're going through, which, kind of brings me to my next question for you. It's, what are some of the common questions and common things that amputees are faced with?
As you can imagine, there are thousands of questions that an amputee is, going to be asking. And I think a lot of it depends on many factors, how old they are, the circumstances surrounding their need for amputation, their previous coping mechanisms through other adversities that they faced in life, their support system, sometimes their education. So questions can surround pain. Is it always going to be this painful? When will the pain subside? And what am I going to walk like? Am I always going to walk with a limp? Am I always going to have to use a walker or a cane or crutches to walk? Will I ever work again and provide for my family? Will I ever be able to have children? How will I care for my children? Will I be able to drive? And one of the, amputation challenges are body image, our self-esteem. And so a big question many people have is, will anybody ever find me worthy of love? Will I still be attractive, to my husband, to my loved one? If they're single, will I always be single? When I was married for 15 years and now divorced, and when I was going through my divorce, some of my girlfriends had asked me, Mona, gosh, at our age, it's going to be so hard for you to find love now, because of your leg. And I said, no. I said, my leg will weed out the riffraff quickly. If they have an issue with my disability, then I don't have to waste time with them. So again, it's just perspective, right? How we look at our situations. They were thinking that I would be judged and I'd be alone for the rest of my life. And to me, this gives me an edge against having to waste time on people that I don't need to be wasting my time on. So those are some of the common questions that I usually get asked when I'm helping someone through their journey of newly being an amputee. And a big one also is stigma, and how do I handle people's stares? That's a common question that comes up in support group also is, what do you do when people stare at you? How do you react? And again, depending on where they're at in their process of emotional healing, that determines sometimes how they react to people staring. And I tell people that, people are good. And if they look at you, they're genuinely just wondering what happened. They're curious. Or, they're maybe thinking about their own lives and thinking, wow, look at this person who is still out in the community. They're still at the grocery store. They're still out. They're not in their home hiding. And inevitably, that individual may look at you and say, wow, you know what? This is what I needed to see because I'm struggling with something, and now I know that I can get through. If this person can get through, I can get through too, depending whatever it is that they may be struggling with. So it's always a matter of kind of twisting, someone's thought process to think about things in a more positive way. And, it just gives them a different way to look at. And I always encourage amputees, to, if it's a child staring, I always try to make the time to go up to that child and ask them if they want to ask me anything. And sometimes, they get embarrassed and they'll, bury their face into their parents. And I'll talk to the parents, but really I'm talking to the child. And so in hopes that next time they see someone that's a little bit different, it won't faze them, and it will be okay to, and not have, it'll be okay to look at someone that is a little bit different than them. So anyway, those are some of the main questions that many amputees, will ask when they're faced with amputation and limb loss early on. Yeah. And many of these questions are questions that I asked as well when I went into my, when I got into my accident, when I was going through my amputation. And a lot of these questions weren't answered for me. And that's what made my drive to creating a support system even stronger, because I didn't want anybody to go through what I went through alone. as much as I could control. And so I wanted to be, that person and build a community for amputees, because that is something that I did not personally have when I needed it.
Yeah. Well, and with you going through what you went through and having the questions that you did, I mean, they're common questions that people would have. I mean, most people do have, regardless what's going on, they've got, body image issues. We're kind of bombarded with that. And so when people are faced with a challenge and are able to overcome that with a positive attitude, it just makes so much of a better difference for their lives and how they look at everything. You do so well at being able, not only, I mean, I'm just so floored, and it just touches my heart how positive you've remained through all of this. And it's not to say that all the times were happy, cheery times, everyone has tears and stuff, but you're just an inspiration for people to look at how we can make this better.
Thank you. You just made my day. Super sweet. Thank you so much. It's very
You're
important.
welcome.
It's very, very important for us to, and for me, I know that I am a role model for many, many people. And so it's very important to me to always lead by example, because I know my community, my tribe, they are watching, and they know that I'm going to meet them wherever they are at. If they're struggling today, if because of something, they know they can pick up the phone and they can call me, and we'll talk things through. And I always joke with them that I will let you be in your pity party for X number of weeks or months, depending where they're at. I said, but for example, 2 months from now, if you're still having a little pity party, I will be the first one to tell you we need to move on. Yes, this happened. That was plan A didn't work out. We got to focus on plan B and moving forward. And I will give you so much tough love, and I will push you forward, to just move on. We have a life to live, and I will help you reach every goal you make for yourself. And you just have to have a gentle way and showing them tough love, and it works. It really works, and I am just so blessed, Marianne. I am so blessed that to be in a position to remind people that they are still strong despite, their adversities. And it's our outlook and it's our perspective. And people sometimes just need to be reminded that, you are strong. You can get through this.
I know. Well, they look at you and it's like, gosh, look at her. She's running races. She's doing all. She's smiling all the time. I want to be like that.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's very, very important for me to be a good role model for those that look to me, to help continue building them up. Yeah.
Well, you can definitely see that, and it radiates from you, and so I can see why people are attracted not only to what it is that you're doing with people within the amputee community, but also how they can get involved and try to help and and just highlight the work that you're doing.
It's an honor.
Yeah. Well, and so what if you have somebody that comes to you, they can't afford a prosthetic or they need modifications to their home and car, then what happens?
So if somebody cannot afford a prosthesis or needs basic home modifications or car modifications, we helped an individual once. He had a car, he had a job, and he had an amputation of both of his legs. So he applied for services through the foundation, and we installed hand controls for him. And he is back to work. Something so simple that we could provide somebody with to give them independence to continue living a productive life. So they would just need to apply, go onto our website, apply for services. The application comes directly to me. I contact them. We meet to do an interview to make sure they qualify, and then we get the process going. Sometimes we have a wait list for people that are needing prosthetic limbs. Home modifications are more of the basic home modifications because we are a very, very small nonprofit. We will help with bathroom safety. Every new amputee that we have here in San Antonio, I'm trying to make sure that every physical therapist knows to contact me if they need grab bars in their bathrooms. Majority of accidents in the home happen in the bathroom. So if we try to install 2 to 3 grab bars in the bathroom before they even get home. And then wheelchair ramps and door widening if we need. So basically they just need to go to the website and apply for services, and then it directly comes to me, and then I start the process to seeing if they qualify and then executing whatever services they need.
And it goes from there and getting that all taken care of. That's just so inspiring. I'm so glad that we're talking about this today. And what if somebody wants to donate either services or money or items that you need? How can they do that?
So they can donate directly on our website, money. If they have old prosthetic limbs that they want to donate, they just have to email me or call me, and we'll figure out a place for them to drop off the prosthetic limbs. And then what we do is have the parts of the prosthesis that we cannot reuse, those of course go in the trash. And the components that we can reuse, if they are still in very, very, very good condition, then we hold on to those. And those are the components we use when we have to help somebody with a prosthetic limb. So somebody that needs a prosthesis, I'll find out what size foot they have, what their weight capacity is, if it's right or left. And if I don't have that in our inventory, we have relationships with many, many prosthetic manufacturers and who are our partners. So then they will donate. Within a week, I will have a brand new prosthetic foot or a prosthetic knee in the mail for that individual. Because, that's their way of also doing community service by helping the San Antonio Amputee Foundation help an amputee regain independence and mobility. So they can donate money on the website. If they want to donate through prosthetic components, they can call me, email me, and I would get them. They can email me volunteer. If they want to volunteer, they can always email me, and I'll, get all their contact info and let them know when we have another volunteer opportunity.
Oh, that's so great. Well, and so, there's so many things. I understand that there are different events that take place, and you participate in some of these. I understand that 9 amputees climbed Kilimanjaro. Were you involved in that effort?
Absolutely. I was the team leader. So that was a whole 1-year process of getting my guys ready for
training and all that.
Training and scaling Mount Kilimanjaro. Yes, I was very, very involved. I was the only female, and I was kind of like their drill sergeant for a whole year, and they listened. It was very, very important. You have this 5'2", 100-pound woman, just kind of telling these guys what they needed to do, because it was important to me that they were physically ready to handle such a big challenge. 19,341 feet of climbing. So there was a lot of work that was entailed in getting my guys ready physically, emotionally, mentally, and even financially. It was an amazing, amazing experience. It was wonderful. It was so fun.
Oh my goodness. And it's got to doing that must have such a bigger message for people who are amputees. It's like you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to.
Absolutely. And my reasoning for wanting to put this group of amputees together was to be able to come back and remind the world that we may have literally climbed a mountain, but we are here to help you climb any mountain in your own life. And it was powerful. And our Mount Kilimanjaro expedition, the Cloud Walkers, was a name that was recognized around the world. And truly, I know that we inspired and touched the hearts of thousands and thousands of people, and it was worth every bit of effort that we put into getting ready and actually climbing that mountain. It was we are bonded for life. All my brothers. We had a 4-man medical crew that I took also. Again, I wanted to make sure that everyone's medical needs were taken care of. We had a physician, a medic, a physical therapist, and a prosthetist in case any of us needed adjustments to our prosthesis. And it was just a very, very it was a very pivotal time for the foundation. It really put us on the map, and that's what was the big catalyst that has helped grow our foundation.
Mhm. And kind of move things forward. And now,
Right.
is this was that the first time that you had climbed Kilimanjaro? And are you guys thinking about doing it again?
That was the first time that I had climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I like to always try things first before I take my members, but of course, that's Africa, it's kind of far and it's expensive. So I had done, I did the Inca Trail to Machu Picchu the year before, just to kind of see what it would be like to hike as an amputee, something pretty significant. And so I don't think that we would ever do Mount Kilimanjaro again. I think the next big adventure may be Inca Trail to Machu Picchu again, or maybe some more local, maybe like Mount Whitney on the West Coast. We do annual ski trips. This was our second year of taking our amputees to New Mexico for an adaptive ski trip. So that's something that's annual. I'm going to make it into a youth trip for next year as well. So I'll take 2 groups up next year to New Mexico, a youth, an amputee youth group, and then an adult group. So, yeah.
Well, that'll be an exciting time, and I'm sure everyone's kind of looking forward to that, being able to spend time outdoors and being active, and and really challenging whatever boundaries are out there.
Oh, absolutely. And I think some of the more fun times, even other than being outdoors and, and testing our limits and stepping outside of our comfort zones when we're on the mountain to learn how to ski, in the evening, everybody gets together. We stay at this beautiful resort that gives us really great group rates. And we, sit there around the bar. There's a beautiful fireplace, and we sit as a family and we chat for hours and hours and hours and laugh and have fun and share stories. And it is just a beautiful time of bonding. We carpool up, we caravan and carpool up, and so we are together for, 4 days straight, and it's just a beautiful time of bonding with each other as well. So everyone always puts their applications in quickly and prays that they get to go, on the next ski trip.
Well, and you stay very active yourself. In fact, I think I saw somewhere where you were doing, I think it was like a marathon, or you're running, it was a longer race than I ran in a while, that way.
Yeah, back in 2009, I ran a half marathon, and after that point, I developed, or I got a diagnosis of osteoporosis, so I stopped long distance running, and now it's shorter, 5Ks is the most that I will do. Last year, I put a team together for a team triathlon through another nonprofit organization called Challenge Athlete Foundation, CAF. They're based in La Jolla, California. So we had, it was a 1-mile ocean swim, 10-mile run, and a 44-mile bike ride. So I'm not a swimmer, and I'm not, actually, my swimmer is missing both of her legs above the knee. Her name is Yvonne. And Ian is missing both of his legs below the knee, and he has no fingers. So neither one of them can get on a bike. So by default, my happy butt had to learn how to ride a bike last year. I didn't know how to ride a bike until last year. So I learned how to ride a bike, I think, like in February, and I trained and did the 44-mile bike ride in October. So it was fun. I'm not the best on a bike, but I made it through.
Yeah, Yeah, I haven't been on the bike too much myself, but I know how to stay on. So, try to avoid
and then you have the
falls.
challenges of clipping in, clipping out, on top of, your fear of falling and learning how to clip out with my prosthetic foot. That was just in itself probably harder than learning how to ride a bike.
Wow.
So, a couple of falls here and there, and I just have to, again, be careful that I don't injure myself and break a bone or something with my osteoporosis. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Again, that whole team approach, was so fun to go to San Diego together, and I'm hoping to be able to put 2 to 3 teams together for this October.
That will be, it sounds like a lot of fun. And are you doing it from people within your area, or is it people across the United States that can participate?
Well, I'm hoping that, we'll have a lot of people within our area, and I have a couple of amputee friends from across the world, or I'm sorry, across the country that also want it. Like John Register, my buddy that lives in Colorado, he probably will be on one of our teams as a cyclist. Another buddy of mine, Reggie Showers, lives Midwest. He probably will be one of my runners. So it'll be a combination of my local members here with other amputee friends from across the country. So I'm hoping to put 2 or 3 teams together.
That sounds like that will be just fabulous. Yeah, well, I'll have to keep track of when you guys do that and cheer you on when you come through my neck of the woods, because I'm sure a lot of people want to be able to do that as well, kind of, either donate or, just at least be there and offer support.
That would be great. Yeah, please stay. We'll keep in touch, and I would love everyone's support. And I'm very goal-oriented. My boyfriend that I have now 5 years, he has instilled in me the importance of always having goals, and so in turn I'm instilling that in my members. When we have goals, it keeps us mentally and physically very sharp. And it could be a small goal, but we always have to operate with, having some type of goal to reach towards. So it's another great, lesson that I'm able to teach our members is, okay, what's your goal? What's your 3-month goal? Okay, so what are our little baby goals to get us there? So the physical challenges that I offer to my members, again, the whole purpose is to keep them physically and mentally active and sharp. So, yeah.
Well, and the great thing is once you establish a goal and say, okay, I'm going to do this bike ride, or I'm going to hike Kilimanjaro, whatever the goal is, once you cross it off your list, the fun part is you get to write a new one.
Exactly. That's where I'm at right now. So the triathlon it's too far away. So I'm trying to figure out what my goal is right now for the next 3 months, and I haven't found that goal just yet. So I'll let you know when I find it.
Sure. I'm sure it will come up. Well, and this is a little question that's kind of a little bit different. So I understand you are a sparkle twin. So what is that? What is a sparkle twin?
It is the sweetest story, Marianne. So I was asked by a local oncologist to meet with a 10-year-old little girl who had a tumor in her lower leg, and she was going to have the same level of amputation as me below the knee. So I met with her the day before her surgery, and she didn't even want her parents in the room. She just wanted to chat with me, kind of on her own. And she asked me beautiful questions about, just what's it going to feel like. And she asked me, you've probably seen my prosthesis, and the metal is exposed, and so it doesn't look like my natural leg. So she looked at my leg and she asked me, Miss Mona, is my leg going to have to look like that, or will it look real? And I told her, well, that's up to you. Once the person that makes your prosthesis has you comfortable, then you can let them know if you want to keep it where the metal is showing, or if you want to have it covered so it looks like your other leg. She said, and I told her, I had it covered for many, many years to make it look like my real leg. And then one day I decided to take my cover, which made it look real, off. And she asked me, well, did you do that because you wanted people to know that it's okay to have a prosthetic leg? And I said, that is absolutely the reason why I did it. So she says, well, I think in the beginning I'm going to want it covered so it'll look real until I get used to it, until my friends get used to it. And I said, that's perfect. So, we finished our little talk, and she went home, and she texted me a couple hours later, and she said, Miss Mona, I talked to my mom, and I decided that I don't want to have my leg look real. I want it to look beautiful and sparkly, just like yours. Can we be twins? I was crying, and I showed my kids the text message, and my kids got tears in their eyes. It was so, so sweet. So when CNN came to do the filming for the video that was aired in October, they did a extra bonus video on Benelina's story, and they labeled the video Sparkle Twins. So she has the same exact design on her prosthesis as I do, and it's a sparkly design on our sockets. So she's so proud to be my twin. And the power, again, Marianne, of the peer support that I was able to provide for her was instrumental in her outcomes. She has not cried. She has been nothing but a warrior and what's next, being strong through physical therapy, sharing her story with her friends at school when they have questions. Once in a while, she'll have some issue and she'll call me. And Miss Mona, there's something that bothered me today, and we'll talk through it. And I'll give her suggestions of how to go and help that person understand her and her situation better. And then she'll call me or she'll text me back, thank you so much, Miss Mona. It was just a misunderstanding or something, and we're okay now. So, and she knows that she has a friend in me for as long as she will ever need me. Her parents, in turn, of course, her parents were devastated, had 1,000 questions, and her parents are so incredibly proud of her. So again, that's the power of the peer support.
Yeah, and just to come to her own where she's like, feels so proud to be a Sparkle twin, and it's like, gosh, I want to be exactly like you. I mean, what a great inspiration not only you're providing her, but what a brave young little lady as well to just, she's blazing her own trail where she goes.
Oh, absolutely. And with the foundation, I'm hopeful to be able to start a amputee youth program. And it's amputees like Benelina who I pray I can mentor to become ambassadors, for that program, so they in turn become the inspiration to other youth that are going through what they went through. And in turn, her parents also, will train parents to be able to provide peer support to other parents whose children are, facing limb loss. So it's that's my big project for this year, is to establish a very strong amputee youth program that will encompass support for family members as well.
Well, I'm sure families want to be able to have that support and know how they can support their loved one going through this. So it's just going to be fabulous to have more information out there so people can kind of come together and like how you had the support of your family. Just you guys were just kind of, working from each other and building just like, hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this.
You nailed it. Absolutely. It's coming together as a community and reminding each other we are here for each other, and we will get through. And I see way too much, the dynamic of people not having a support system. And that's what the foundation and the support group, is for. It's a sense of belonging. It's a sense of family. When I have to cancel meetings sometimes because of inclement weather, people are not happy because they're willing to risk safety because they want to see their family. So it's beautiful. It is just beautiful. It's so exciting, Marianne, to know what my life purpose is. We all strive to, yeah.
And you've got such beautiful passion for it. It makes other people excited to be a part of it.
It really does. It really, truly does. I'm working with a lady right now who just had amputation yesterday. I met with her over the weekend to prepare her for amputation, and she was crying and asking, why me? Why is this happening to me? And I told her, I said, what I believe, she goes to dialysis 3 times a week, and there are a lot of, by nature of diabetes and vascular issues, there's a lot of amputees that are, that she is in dialysis with, and there are going to be more. And I told her, I really believe that your why is because you are going to be the inspiration that helps all your friends in dialysis that may have to go through amputation. They're going to come to you for strength. I know right now we're focusing on you and your healing, but if you're asking me why you, I really believe this is probably going to be your reason why. And she's like, you think? And I said, I know. I can already sense that you are a very, very strong, strong woman, and all your tears are very normal. But that is going to be her why. And people always, thank me for my love and my support and services to them. And I remind them that I'm very grateful for your appreciation, but my thanks will always come in the form of you paying it forward. When I call you and ask you to go visit somebody who has gone through something similar to what you have, you will never tell me no or that you're too busy, and you will get there to provide love and support to that individual just like I provided for you when you needed it. And they do it.
That's so beautiful. You can see why people are just gravitating towards the work that you're doing. And that kind of brings me to like the whole CNN hero thing. How was it? How did it feel to be like a CNN hero?
Initially, when they first called me, I get, as you can imagine, I get tons and tons of phone calls. Mm-hmm. And I never lay down for a nap, and I fell asleep around 6 o'clock because I was exhausted, and I woke up to a phone call, and I'm always an open book. And so some random woman's calling me and asking me 1,000 questions, and then finally, 15 minutes into the conversation, okay, hold on, who are you? I don't even know who I'm talking to. So she's like, okay, I need to be transparent, and so she identified that she was with a program through CNN called CNN Heroes, and somebody had nominated me for a 2017 CNN Hero. And I didn't know much about what a CNN Hero was other than maybe the obvious. Mm-hmm. And it took me aback. I was very humbled by the nomination. At that time, I didn't even know who nominated me. But I shared with her that I needed to think about it because I don't do this work for recognition. And it almost feels wrong for me personally to get recognition for what is just the right thing to do for other people. And, I talked to my boyfriend, who is my rock. And, and this will give another platform for you to be able to share your story and inspire so many other people. So I accepted the nomination, and then they started the vetting process, and I think back in August, I think, is when they told me that, I was awarded a CNN Hero recognition. It was truly, it was exciting. It was humbling. It was extremely humbling. It truly was, to be recognized for the work, that I've been doing. And it was a reminder that, okay, I am doing something good for the world. And this is going to be my opportunity and remind me that my work isn't done yet. Mm-hmm. It was just a very exciting time. It was a time for reflection for me, to reflect back on my whole journey and think about how far I have come, and just it validated the fact that this happened for a reason, and I know my life purpose.
Yeah. Well, it's really easy to see that, and and I'm so glad that they nominated you, and that moved forward, and you're in the 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 top 10 and what have you. And because it's such an experience to be around other people as well that are, doing their life purpose and have such drive and such passion. It just must have felt pretty just kind of awe-inspiring to be there.
It was. To be surrounded by these selfless heroes that are doing remarkable things in their own pockets of the world. It was so inspiring, and it just filled all of us. We fed off of each other's energy, and we're another family. We are all so bonded, and we have a private Facebook page that we, keep in touch with each other and share with each other things that are happening. Hey, look out for, this. I just got this weird email or phone call from someone. I think it's a hoax if they start calling you guys too. So we're looking out for each other. But it truly was. It was a remarkable time to be surrounded by the other top 10 heroes who had no ego. They just were doing the work that they knew needed to be done to help humanity. It was fun, and it was such a once in a lifetime experience. The tribute show in itself was a once in a lifetime experience. The whole red carpet, experiencing that with 70, 80 photographers, just snapping. There's like lights flashing everywhere. Having hair and makeup done, and being in the green room, and it was fun. It was so fun. It was the CNN Heroes. They took such good care of us. They treated us so special.
Well, and the cool thing is, because I know being a role model is so important to you, and just what that says to people who, have amputation, who have a disability, just they're looking at going, gosh, I can overcome anything. And look at all this stuff that Mona did. I can do that.
Absolutely. That's what drives me every day. That's what drives me, is just reminding people that, okay, there ain't nothing special about me. Like I said, I'm a little 5'2", 100-pound woman. If this little body can do it, there is no reason why you will be able to rock it as well. So, that's what drives me every day. And of course, I've got two daughters. I'm a single mom, and living by example for my 2 children, very, very important to me. My kids are growing up knowing that they can do anything they put their mind to.
Oh, my God. You're such a perfect living example of that for all of us. You really are.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Mona. And so where can our listeners connect with you? What's the website for the San Antonio Amputee Foundation?
So the website is samputeefoundation.org, or you can just Google San Antonio Amputee Foundation. The cell phone that's on there comes directly to me. My email is on there that comes directly to me. So if there is any need that anybody has for my support, my guidance, I'm a clinical social worker, so I am able to guide people through the process of anything. And even if it's not San Antonio, anywhere across the world even, I can help guide them to services in their area with whatever they're struggling with. So if you go onto the website, look up San Antonio Amputee Foundation and shoot me an email and let me know what it is that you're needing, and I will help you in the best way that I can.
That is fabulous. And if anyone would like to donate as well, you can do that at the website. We talked about that a little bit earlier, so you want to go ahead and check that out. Mona, thank you so much for taking the time to just share your light with us today. It has been such an honor to spend this time with you.
Thank you so much. And just remember, there is a hero within every single one of us. And to never, ever forget that, all of us are going to be faced with life's inevitable challenges. Nobody is immune from, being challenged with some type of adversity. And what really makes the difference is how we react to those adversities. And with strength and love and support and belief in ourselves, we can grow through any of those adversities, and in turn learn from our situations and then pay it forward.
What a beautiful note to end on. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you, Mona. And we so appreciate having you here today and just spending this time. And I'm sure we will be connecting in the future to talk more about all the great work that you're doing.
Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Marianne. I am truly, truly honored to be able to share a few words of my life and how I can help anyone that needs my love and my support.
Thank you so much, Mona. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you, not only to talk about the San Antonio Amputee Foundation, but the inspiration that you are providing millions. If you'd like to learn more about the work that Mona's doing and more about the San Antonio Amputee Foundation and how you can donate, please visit saamputeefoundation.org. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I would like to thank everyone for tuning in. You've been listening to Moments with Marianne. And remember, make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Moments with Marianne airs every Thursday, Friday, and Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.